What is good, rookies? Welcome to your Trade Talk Tuesdays. And we're going to be flying through this one because I think it's a pretty simple and easy week to do trades, at least for us. But there's a couple of things that we can miss out on or utilize, which will ultimately kind of make a pivotal change on how we play the next few rounds. So, as we can see here, we've got Ryan from Roberts, and we're potentially moving on Sexton to Jones. Now, this leaves us with 156 in the bank, ready for next week to, again, make some more moves. Wait one more week on Stewart, and then pick him up at his bottom out price of around 500, which can work in our favor. That means we finish our backline next week, and we give some of the guys that are getting close to their the break even one last opportunity to either like reset it, meet it, and maximize cash, or potentially move them on early this week. So ideally, my thoughts here, as I've mentioned way before this, probably for like 2 weeks now, we were always trying to plan on going Ryan to Stewart this week. This hasn't exactly worked out. It can, but we lose our last boost if we want to bring in Stewart this week. Now, there's obviously talks around Oliver. He looked in great form over the weekend. I think he got 141 points. There's been press conferences and some media about him saying that he's like, back to 100%. And he honestly looked it as well. Like, he looked really good over the weekend. For someone who's under 500K, that you kind of can't miss that, which I don't really want to either. But if we look at our traded in players for the top 1%, which for myself is where I usually look first before looking at anything else, Darcy, Oliver, and Ryan. Now, Kircher can be a great bring-in if he maintains that role. Again, it wasn't necessarily a skill thing with McKercher and isn't a skill thing with most rookies. It's a role thing. I'm more focused on roles and how they affect the player rather than the player themselves with their skill set. Dawson is a great example of this. Dawson is an absolute fucking weapon, but his role, when he changes and leads more into the forward line, doesn't allow him to utilize his skill set. So we can see top 1% and bringing in Clary and Ryan this week, which I think are like really smart moves. Then the next person, Stewart. So it's tricky. All the people jump on a Dylan Moore and Sinclair as well. Bont's down. Bont's getting pretty cheap for what he's putting out. People are still bringing in Martin as well. Our trades that we brought in, obviously we had a quick look, but we looked at bringing in Martin for Grundy and a couple of rooks. Now, Rogers didn't play that well. Garcia scored like 66, I think, from Bulldogs. We were kind of all expecting him to get Bevoed, and that never happened. Bittersweet, but hopefully Rogers can come back this week against North and make us some cash. But most traded out in the 1%. Roberts, I think everyone was kind of happy to let him go. Yo is looking like a 2-week out. We never bought him in, but if you bought him in early, you definitely made some good cash off him. Now, people are dropping Darcy, and this is where I want to kind of look at my team. So if we look at our team here, let's just undo these changes just so we can see what we had. We're going to optimize. Sexton should be off field because he's not ever going to play, I don't think, which is scary. That's unfortunate. Clark came back, did very, very well. But basically, this is what we're looking at. So our moves here, the one that's like a lock, which is always going to happen, which I mentioned in our review, is Roberts to Ryan. We can lock that in. That I don't think that changes. The question here becomes, do we trade out some rookies early to grab their cash and go to a Stewart, or to go to an Ollie? Or do we leave... The crazy part about this and what makes it so difficult is Suns have North, Bulldogs have Richmond. In the week where we were hoping to have these guys make a bit more money to comfortably trade them out this week, they've made minimal, didn't, go under their break even, but their break even is creeping. Like, Colossi is probably better suited to go next week, and we've got Darcy, who's probably also good to go next week. Which then leaves us with a few options, because I really don't want to let go of at least the Suns. I can potentially step away from Darcy, which then means, okay, well, what do we do then? Do we leave Sexton? Do we hope that he gets named? He hasn't really, like, we needed one more game to get him like 200, and that helps. Howes is getting close to his break even. He can put up a sneaker, and this could be like the max we get out of him. So we could look at going Howes and Darcy out. Now, if we boost, just make sure we get this. So if we do that, we can get a value pick and some cash left over for our rookie. Now, our rookie, which I think everyone is just going to go, is good old Darcy Jones. So I can lock him in. This, again, ultimately leaves our forward line looking very weak. You know, we've really only got two keepers potentially. You know, we don't have a Moore. We don't have a Zorko. Don't have a Ranky. You know, it's looking very light. However, what this means is we can either bring in Stewart and lock him in, which means our defense is done. We pay up a little bit more for him because I think at the moment, we look at our stats. Where are we, Stewart? Now you can see we've got some updated targets below as well. So this will change every week. Where did you go? So 523 is projected to come down about 16K. Is, you know, 132. We're waiting on that ceiling game from him. Could that be to Port? Maybe. I'm not like confident. You know, do we wait a week on Stewart and then, you know, bring in Clary? Because this is 100% what could happen. Is we lock in Clary for a value pick, we complete that, then I trust Graham on field more than I trust Colisi. This doesn't look too bad. This gets us a decent score. We've banked a little bit of cash for next week. But then the conversation becomes, okay, well, then we still want Stewart. We need to come up with 500K. So ultimately, we're looking at a few things here, which is to get to that 500K mark, we need to make up around 400-ish, just over, to get to that mark. So what can we do next week to get that cash? Well, Glossy could hopefully go up to, let's say, 3. At least get him to 3. If he has a good game, he gets to like 310, 312. That's great. But let's just say he goes up to 3. Cool. So we've got 392. We still need to make up about 120. So who we downgrade? I think Sullivan from Collingwood's a good downgrade option. But who are we going to downgrade then? If we go Sexton down, that's not going to give us the cash we need. So who else can move? Graham, maybe. Might be going a bit early. I think Graham can make us a little bit more money. Clark, he's only just restarted his cash and we can't go down. There's no one else for which we can try and make this money appear from. But that either means we're set on not bringing in Ollie and not bringing in Leo and potentially not looking at Stewart. Or we kind of just deal with our low cash gen, which is going to stunt what we do for the next foreseeable future because we've used our boost. We, you know, are waiting for these rookies to either come back like a Hoare. Maynard, I think we just need to kind of burn a trade to get him out to like a Sullivan, which is my plan, is get, which again isn't an option to really make a difference, which sucks. But we can pocket, you know, 15K. He's a loop option for sure. But again, we're desperately in need for some cash gen. I don't like fielding Garcia, and this doesn't really give us an option. And this is why I like not using a boost this week and just doing a 1 up, 1 down. Because if we optimize this, get rid of our boost, we do an easy swap from Roberts to Ryan. That's easy. Then we say goodbye to Sexton. We should have a long time ago. We bring in Jones. We complete that trade. Not only do we still have 150 in the bank, we also maintain our boost. This also gives us the opportunity to let our players that have good games like good matchups this week, like Darcy and the Suns, to both make money. Or House can also make money too. He could 100% pop off. Like he'll at least make over his break even this week. I have no doubt. So we could get him to 300. We could get him to 300. That's an extra 30 to 40K that we've got to use, which makes a lot of difference. Graham hopefully keeps going. Darcy hopefully gets up to about 320, 330. So if we start trading out these players, we're kissing goodbye to about 50 to 60K potentially, which is going to be a difference between trying to go for a value pick or, getting a good primo. So I'm not 100% locked in on this. There are a few options like Moore, who's good value, but the main one's Ollie. But at the same time, this is the first game we've seen Ollie in great form. If we have a look at what we're looking at, if he hits his break even at 91, he's going to go up 20K. Now, if he maintains the form he had last week, which he might not against Carlton. Carlton could be pretty good. Track might get the Hewitt tag. They could send it to Ollie if he ends up playing very, very well in the first quarter, first half. When we're looking at plus 20, we're still looking either just above 500, which I think I can stomach. So even if we don't bring in Stewart or Ollie this week, they still become potential targets next week. So I don't think we're actually going to miss out on much, especially if it means that we're leaving Darcy, Colossi, Graham, Howes to make money still. And I think I feel like that's the risk I'm willing to take this week. We have a decent projected, but we all had a decent projected last week and look what happened. So you never know what's going to happen. But ultimately, guys, this is, I think, what we're going to move forward with for our trades. We're going to save our boost this week. We're just going to bring in Ryan and Jones. Just an easy one up, one down. Keep an eye on Stewart. Hope he comes down a little bit more. Keep an eye on Ollie for our M8 position. And see how we go. That's where we're at, I think. But what are you guys doing for your trades this week? Did your trades last week work in your favor? Did you bring in Green? Because that would be trash. Just quietly, I think Green is, comfortable and confident to be a test and play this week. So this is it's going to be an interesting week to see how we go, because I'm happy to let Clark cover Green. I think with Dangerfield out, I think Clark's getting a lot of time on ground and can clearly do some decent numbers. So yeah, let me know how you guys are traveling. I'm curious to see what other people are looking for when their trades. Are you going to bring in Ryan, the Seagull? Or you're just going to try and get some value in and pick up more and clarity if you've already got Ryan. Very curious to see what you guys are going to be doing for trades this week. Let me know your thoughts on my trades. Should I be looking to really bring in Ollie or more this week and just kind of burn that boost and potentially burn some cash gen? Let me know. Otherwise, I will see you on Thursday. A quick shout out to the Setter Bounce, the guys, Joe and Big J, absolute legends. I always hang out in their chats and live streams, and they were absolute legends. Gave my channel a bit of a shout out. And the one thing that they said, which is what you're going to get from me, is if not entertaining content, you're going to get consistent content. So if you guys have any suggestions for videos you want to see, any reviews, any collabs or features with other content creators in the community of Supercoach, please let me know. I'm more than happy to try and make that happen. But with that said, guys, I will see you on Thursday.